Strangers and Aliens, the strange Christmas movie Smackdown.
Let's get ready to, can we say rumble?
No, it is a trademark. We cannot. Hey everyone, I'm Ben Avery. This is Strangers and Aliens, which oftentimes we are here to talk about that nexus and connection point between speculative fiction and spirituality, and we are here to talk about one of the greatest possible examples of that connection between sci-fi and spirituality and fantasy and faith and Christianity and creativity, and that is the Christmas movie. Because, I mean, the Christmas season itself wouldn't exist without any of those Christianity, spirituality, faith. All those things come out of the Christmas story, and so do these Christmas movies. Sort of, if you call them Christmas movies. So
I can't wait.
Yeah. So you are hearing the voice of Winston Churchfield. Did I say? I was going to say Churchill.
I've been called worse. Crutchfield.
Okay, all right. Crutch. I got it way wrong. I got the second half was what I was worried about. First half is what I got wrong. Embarrassing, but not going to get edited out. So here we are. Winston has been on the podcast before. He's been here with me before to talk about geeky things, and he is here today partially because of I put out a call to a certain group on Facebook to say, hey, I want to talk about Christmas sci-fi fantasy movies. And the group that he's a part of is a group that helped with this book here, Following Yonder Star. We will shamelessly plug this probably once or twice more, but I'm throwing it out right now. We will also shamelessly plug some of the other work that Winston has done. He is definitely a writer because he was part of that, but he also is a publisher, and he has been working on publishing a series of books. We will talk about that as well. But for right now, he's also here as a geeky Christian guy. And
I'm here to talk about the movies.
Yes. And so here is how this is going to work. I've done variations on this theme in different places for Strangers and Aliens. There were blog posts that I did 48 blog posts that were all strange Christmas movies, and they were movies that were tangentially related to Christmas, but weren't movies you would necessarily call a Christmas movie. Like the perennial conversation about Die Hard. Is it a Christmas movie? And I've also done an audio episode where I talked about a bunch of different Christmas movies that came from that list. And so for this episode, I was trying to think of some way to talk about it in a different way, and that's where the Smackdown comes down to, okay? And so I've got a list of some doubles of movies that we're going to go through, and we are going to debate which one is the better Christmas movie. And they're ranked and put in by category, and we'll just see how that all goes. But before we do, Winston, do you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie? That's the starting point.
I mean, golly, it takes place at Christmas.
I mean, it does.
So, I mean,
it does.
And it's got the it shamelessly references many Christmas traditions and elements. Does it treat Christmas themes? No, I really don't think it does. So, is it a Christmas film? I'm one of those guys who watch it every Christmas.
Okay. All right. So the answer, you didn't answer though. Like, your whole lead up is no.
But
and then yes. Okay.
But yes.
That's the answer.
No, it's not a Christmas film, but yes, it is, because that's when I watch it every year.
All right. Good enough answer. Which is really what we're getting into right now then. With all of these movies we're about to talk about, they have to, for me, to be on the list in the first place, they have to have Christmas trappings. They have to have, something. It doesn't have to be all of them, but, whether it's carols or presents, presents are a big one. And that's actually one of the big reasons, I think, why movies that aren't Christmas movies will tie into Christmas. And then theme, when you're talking about theme, that has to be a part of it too, kind of a Christmas theme, but it's in the broadest sense. Like Die Hard does have a Christmas theme to it in the broadest sense when it's talking about like family, and it's talking about like, bringing family together, or not, depending on where things end, with him and his wife. But just that idea of traveling, trying to get home for Christmas, and then, but in Die Hard, there's the trappings of the party. There's the ho ho ho. Now I have a machine gun. Which, if it
Classic.
wasn't at Christmas time, that phrase, that shirt wouldn't mean anything. Like it wouldn't make sense for him to have done that in the middle of July. So, and that's another
So
thing is,
that's
will
an
the movie
excellent.
work in a different place, in a different time?
Exactly. If you take Christmas out of Die Hard, I think all of the jokes either still work as written or with very minor revisions. You still wind up with the guard and a witty saying
Yeah.
plastered over him saying, "Now I have a machine gun." So I don't know.
So that's to me kind of mostly. There are some very, very weak connections to Christmas, and we'll talk about those. But then there's also the strongest one, and the pairing I'm going to wait until the end to bring up is the one that really brings it home, which won't be any surprise once we get to it. And so also as we're going along, I'm sure we'll talk about other movies and things like that. But the first one I want to talk about is very much more traditionally Christmas. The only problem is, on one hand, there's just one movie. On the other hand, there is multiple movies that you could possibly choose from. And so in some ways it's unfair in that. But these are two Christmas movies that are very much about fantasy. They very much tie into just the whole, and Christmas itself lends itself to fantasy. And in the opening of Following Yonder Star, I wrote about how Christmas itself brings a sense of wonder to the actual story of the Nativity. And so a lot of times your Christmas stories have that sense of wonder as well, whether it's a romance when you're talking about like a Hallmark movie, or you're talking about straight fantasy with It's a Wonderful Life versus A Christmas Carol. Now, I put them together because there's some, they're related. They're related to each other, and they both are about a life well lived. And in one case, it's a man who lived a life well lived, and he gets to see what happens when it's not there. And if he never existed, how would the world be a better or a worse place? It turns out it would be a lot worse. And on the other hand, you have a man who did not live a life worth living, not a life well lived, so to speak, and that is Scrooge. And he, versus instead of George Bailey, who helped people and people loved him and he affected the world in a very positive way around him, with Scrooge, he affected the world in a negative way. And he has to change his life to start affecting the world in a positive way. But they kind of thematically, they go together. I also believe that A Christmas Carol is one of the greatest books fantasy books that I've ever read. I love that book so much, and I've read it so much. But Winston, where would you go? Where would you fall? Which one of those two is the better Christmas movie? And unfortunately, I'm just going to say, do not include The Muppets Christmas Carol, because that is entirely unfair. There is no way. There is no way that
Okay.
It's a Wonderful Life could stand against a Muppets Christmas Carol.
Muppets Christmas
That
Carol.
is the best version.
I mean, I have to land firmly on the side of Charles Dickens.
Okay.
A Christmas Carol, and I think there's a number of reasons for that. But the one that weighs most strongly for me is that the story of A Christmas Carol is so strong that it has been adapted so many times in so many different ways and is still recognizably the same film, where I am fairly hard pressed to come up with an adaptation or a retelling or even a similar treatment of It's a Wonderful Life.
It does happen, but it's usually not trying to retell the exact same story. It's just it's like a sitcom will say, "Hey, let's do It's a Wonderful Life."
Sure.
What if what if so and such character was never born, and then we'll see, and It's done in 22
All right,
minutes.
so do it as a bit.
Yeah, and it's definitely doesn't have nearly the reach of A Christmas Carol when it comes to that kind of thing, but it does happen.
It does happen.
It
The
does work.
closest one I could come up with was Click by Adam Sandler, which follows the same story structure as It's a Wonderful Life, notably without the Christmas trappings.
Yeah, yeah.
But
The
yeah,
For me, what puts I mean with Christmas Carol, I mean obviously Muppets Christmas Carol is one of the great Christmas movies of all time. But even taking that out, It's a Wonderful Life, sometimes it's hard to watch. It's long. It's a long movie. And I do find myself, especially when I was younger, getting really bored. And when we tried watching it with the kids, they would get bored. And so it's not a movie I watch every year. But Muppets Christmas Carol, every year. Every year. So, but even, take it but then you have Patrick Stewart's Christmas Carol. You have Scrooged with Bill Murray. You have you have Henry Winkler's American Christmas Carol. So
the Mickey Christmas Carol that they
which
did,
is also fantastic.
Straight up Disney characters. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to beat it. As a treatment of Christmas themes, I'm also going to land on the side of Christmas Carol. And even though this is hard because neither one of them really goes into the birth of Christ or the reason for the season or anything like that, but in A Christmas Carol, Ebenezer, he has shown what will happen, he has shown the consequences of his actions, and he repents.
Mm-hmm.
And in It's a Wonderful Life, Jimmy Stewart is shown what would have been without him, but he is shown one slice of it, and at the end of it, he's not really changed. He goes from being the guy who might have gotten depressed and jumped off the bridge in a moment of despair, but he is still largely the same guy at the end of the film as he was at the beginning of the film. A guy who believes in his neighbors and who wants to help his neighbors, and instead of a life being transformed by the events, we have a moment of despondency being erased. It's for me, from my experience, it's not as strong.
It's not, and I would even say with A Christmas Carol, it does go more. I mean, it has that moment where Tiny Tim says, "When people see me at the church, I want them to remember the man who made blind men see." And
That's true. I forgot about that.
And he specifically talks about that. Yeah, and it could go more. It could go deeper if Charles Dickens had wanted it to. It would have. I also, if you haven't read this, I can't remember the exact title, but Charles Dickens wrote a book called The Life of Christ. I think that's the actual title. He actually wrote it for his children, to read to his children, and it wasn't published until about, I don't know, a couple decades ago. And so it's actually not in public domain. Like everything else he wrote would be in public domain, but this was something that his heirs published, and it was newly published, and so it's not actually in public domain. But he wrote it specifically for his children to read the story of Jesus, and they would read it every Christmas. So
that's fantastic. Well, my last point in favor of A Christmas Carol is that my family got together and recorded a full cast audio drama of A Christmas Carol, and we had a great time doing it, and
Nice.
I love to listen to that.
We recorded a full cast for my drama class when I was teaching drama in high school. And so a third period drama class recorded A Christmas Carol, and fourth period drama class recorded It's a Wonderful Life, the Lux Radio Theater version of it. So,
Well, all right.
yeah. All right, let's move to superheroes.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to put up Iron Man 3, versus Batman Returns. So,
Ouch.
which is the better Christmas movie?
Ouch. Okay. Well, I really think that the Christmas treatment in Iron Man 3 is barely there. Whereas the imagery and the iconography in Christmas is all over Batman Returns. So for a treatment of Christmas iconography and use of the Christmas trappings, and even down to the music, I'm going to have to land on Batman Returns for this one.
Okay, and I would agree with Iron Man 3. The whole thing was that, first of all, it's an action movie directed by Shane Black, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, and he's done a number of action movies that are set at Christmas time, and so okay, he does that. It's set at Christmas time for some reason. It involves him giving a gift or not. A character beat for him is that he gets Pepper a Christmas gift, and it's not very
That
thoughtful at
8-foot
all.
stuffed bear.
Yep, yeah. I think it's a bunny. But
Is it a bunny? Okay.
Giant stuffed, yeah, and it's a dumb gift. It's just dumb. And so you could almost look at Iron Man 3 as a Christmas Carol-esque kind of a thing where you have the self-centered guy learning to learning to put others first, slightly, kind of, almost. But the other thing was at the end, when they're infiltrating the castle, so to speak, he uses a Christmas ornament as a distraction, and so there's that. But
Yeah,
Batman Returns.
Doesn't Dummy wear a Christmas a Santa hat in the at one point in the film?
I don't remember that, but
his robot.
yeah.
No. Anyway.
Yeah.
Trying to help you there,
Batman
Ben.
Returns definitely has the Christmas trappings, the Christmas tree. Part of the Penguin's thing is at the lighting of the Christmas tree.
Right.
But then you also have the weird Moses stuff with the Penguin. There's some weird religious stuff in this movie where Penguin goes into a river in the baby stroller, and he gets lost and found by the penguins. He comes back 30 years later to start his career as the Penguin. There's this whole weird Old Testament and New Testament symbolism going on there, but the Christmas setting is definitely a part of that, and it's also a very Tim Burton-y thing to do. And I honestly, if I were putting the original Batman up against Batman Returns, I was trying to think which one I would like the best, and I think Batman Returns is kind of edging out lately for me as the winner of the Batman Tim Burton movies. But yeah, I don't know if that's heresy or not.
Gosh, that's a completely different discussion, and it's a hard discussion.
It's what I do like about them is it's a very different movie. The story is different. It's not just, hey, we're going to do the same movie again with some slight changes. We're doing something completely different. But yeah, okay. So Batman Returns, we both agree it comes out on top. With all of these, if you are watching or listening right now and you agree or disagree, we love to give some comments down below and join the debate. And we'll see.
How many Tim Burton films do you have on this list? Because
Edward Scissorhands was on the list, but I didn't have a good pairing for it unless you wanted to put Edward Scissorhands versus Night Before Christmas. Not Night Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
So
we could do that.
There's your challenge, listeners. Give us a good pairing for Edward Scissorhands. Debate that in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. So next we have. Should we go to Stallone?
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go to Stallone. All right.
Okay. I'm listening.
We have First Blood versus Rocky IV. So, First Blood takes place at Christmas. They never once mention it, but every place you go in that town, They have Christmas decorations. The the police office has a Christmas tree. For some reason, when they did this was set decoration. This was not that they came into a town, it was Christmas time and they had to deal with it. They chose Christmas decorations for this small town to be a part of the season that he's coming into the town. So John Rambo walks into town and they don't want him there because he is a Vietnam vet and they know he is. And they treat him poorly, and then he comes back in and they arrest him, they beat him, and they trigger him to go into the woods and decide he's declared war on the town now, and they've declared war on him. And it's all about trauma and Vietnam. And for some reason, I don't know if it's in the book, but for some reason when they did the set design, it is Christmas. So there's that.
Wow. Okay.
Rocky IV, the fight against Drago is a Christmas Day fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was what makes Rocky IV a Christmas movie. So of the two, you have, and both of them are very much about America in very different ways. Because First Blood is all about the Vietnam vet coming home to America where he is not accepted, and Rocky IV is all about yay America. And yeah. So which would you put as the better Christmas movie?
I don't know, but now I'm gonna have to go watch them both back to back, and I've got them both on my Blu-ray shelf. So
you're watching them back to back as Christmas,
as Christmas films,
yeah.
as Christmas films. But good golly, I may have to land on First Blood with this one.
Okay.
The iconography being throughout the film on Main Street, their decorations on Main Street and in the police station, which they don't really make anything of it.
Not at all.
I don't know that the themes of the film can be meshed into the Christmas story easily either. I'm willing to be swayed one way or the other on this.
There is one other element, and it is not a great element, but it is that the town where he walks into is called Hope. So, and that is a major theme behind why Christmas was needed. Is the thrill of hope. It's one of our Advent candles is the Hope candle. It's a big part of what Christmas means and what But in the buildings of in the town of Hope is all this Christmas stuff where you're supposed to be. It's in some ways maybe an anti-Christmas movie, but it's an anti-Christmas movie in the way that it is more. It's not judging Christmas; it's judging the people of the town.
Well, it is judging the people of the town, and if you want to stretch the metaphor, John Rambo comes to town and he has no form or comeliness that any of them should desire him. They don't know anything about him. They don't know that he is a Vietnam veteran. That comes out later. What they know is that he doesn't have a job and he doesn't have a car and he is a homeless drifter, and the sheriff doesn't want him in his town. And all of the bad behavior that the townsfolk succumb to and the police succumb to is driven by the sheriff. He gives them license to treat this man as they would not treat anyone else, and so they do, down to the abuse and to hunting him, because they have an accuser who is leading them into temptation. And when Rambo comes in, his war is really solely against the police chief. And now that I'm trying to think of the actor's name,
Brian, are you the police chief?
The police chief, Brian
Dennehy.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, his conflict really isn't with the townsfolk. The townsfolk are behaving towards him as he expects them to. It's just the police chief that is antagonistic for no reason. Where with Rocky IV, I mean, if the only connection to Christmas there is the fight at the end, gosh, I mean, he trains in the snow.
Yeah, he does. There's, there's, yeah,
At a log cabin. Is that Christmas?
yeah. I mean, he does mention. So, I mean, we're stretching metaphors here, making weak
Yes.
connections, so to speak.
Yes, let's.
And his speech at the end is the whole, I came here and you were all against me, and I was against you, and now we changed, and if I can change, and you can change, everybody can change.
That's right. Because
And then Merry Christmas, little buddy, to his son who's watching the game or watching the fight at home. But
yeah, because he's
Yeah.
in Moscow. I forgot about that. Gosh.
but the whole thing, I mean, you got to really stretch it. But that whole idea of people changing, and that's, again, Christ came to this world to save us from our sin and to allow us to, become who we were created to be, and this is, Rocky comes to town to punch a guy to ground beef.
Sure.
they beat each other up. So I would agree with you about giving the edge to Rambo, to First Blood, not Rambo. It's not Rambo.
Right. Sure.
Although, did they change it officially on some? I think they might call it Rambo
It
First
was
Blood.
later marketed as Rambo First Blood.
Yeah, because it was Rambo First Blood Part 2. What's the second one?
Yes, that's correct.
Which, yeah, okay. All right, let's move on to movies with giant monsters.
Oh, you have my attention.
All right, Peter Jackson's King Kong and Jurassic World. So Peter Jackson's
What are
King
you doing
Kong.
to me, Ben? What are you doing to me?
Peter Jackson's King Kong takes place. The whole third act takes place at Christmas time, and there are Christmas decorations all over the place. There is a beautiful moment, and it's actually one of those what I would call I shouldn't say I. In film school, what we were taught about, they call it the haunting moment, where it's a moment that sticks with you after the movie and out of context. And so even a bad movie can have a haunting moment. But one of the haunting moments, there's a few, but one of them in King Kong is just where King Kong and Darrow are ice skating on the lake in Central Park. And then they start shelling them with bombs and stuff. But and then he dies that night. But yeah, but that's what makes that a Christmas movie. For Jurassic World, it's really interesting because it starts out, it's Christmas time, and it starts out, there's snow, there's presents, there's Christmas carols, and then they are going to go with their aunt to the island, the two boys, while their parents are figuring out their divorce. And then you never hear another thing about Christmas again, because they're on this tropical island with dinosaurs, and there are no Christmas decorations. I do not understand why that first section was at Christmas, and then they forget about it, because unless it was like a reshoots kind of a thing where they decided later on, let's do this Christmas idea because of family and the broken family. But we shot the whole rest of the movie and there's no Christmas. That's okay. No one's going to notice because they'll be looking at the dinosaurs. But
I mean, we're right about that. Nobody noticed because they were dinosaurs. Yeah, I think the boys, when they're in the bubble, they talk about that. The older one mentions it, that it's not a great way to spend their last Christmas together.
yeah, I think it was something like that where it's we're never going to have Christmas together again or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Did it premiere at the Christmas season?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember. But yeah, so giant monsters. And actually there's dinosaurs in both movies.
Okay, yeah, dinosaurs in both movies. Did I volunteer for this?
You did. You did.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
hoping that your reaction is not going to be a reflection of what people who are watching and listening are also going to be like, what is Ben even thinking? What is this?
No. That's great. I love a challenge. I love a
Okay, all
challenge.
right.
And
Just which one's a better Christmas movie? You want me to go first? I can go first for this one.
these are all No, it's all right.
All
So
right.
far, you haven't named a movie that I don't enjoy. So
Okay.
we're
All right.
doing great. We're doing great. I'm going to give it to King Kong because the haunting moment in Jurassic World is comes towards the end when Chris Pratt and um, Dallas Bryce Howard
Howard, yeah.
are shooting up the dinosaurs, and he plugs them all, and he sweeps her into a dip and plants a kiss on her, and then they go back to saving the world. And I mean that's the money shot of the film, which in the I, I love in the commentary where they would talk about how that was completely unplanned and unscripted. And the director pulled Chris Pratt aside and said, "Hey, when you do this, just pull her in and plant one on her." And he did, and that's what they went with because it worked so well. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to King Kong.
Okay.
It's because of the ice skating scene. That's all I
I'm
got.
also I'm also giving it to King Kong. Both of these movies, I mean, I don't know if we could stretch. I mean, I because you stretch it to a certain point and it rips, it tears, and it breaks, and so I don't know if we could stretch them, but yeah, I also would agree with it being King Kong. I do think it's intentional with Jurassic World, whether or not they intended it the entire time they were in production, or was an afterthought where they said, let's just set this at Christmas time because family, and this is a broken family or whatever. But I think it's intentional. I mean, obviously for King Kong, it's intentional too, because all of those sets had to be created. They were not, again, they were not filming on location in a situation where like,
Island,
well,
sure.
it's Christmas, which actually will bring us to our next one. That brings us to our next one. Okay.
Oh, you don't want to try to stretch these metaphors?
I'm not stretching these metaphors. No,
I'm on board. Let's go. Let's go.
We're gonna keep moving. This one does get stretched. There's gonna be some stretching for this one too, but
Okay.
this is
All right.
classic,
Look out here.
classic movies of film directors at the height of their powers. That's the category. Are you ready?
Okay. All right.
Citizen Kane and Psycho.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
All right. So you know the connection for Citizen Kane, right?
Yes. Yeah, the Christmas Connection and Citizen Kane. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you probably don't know for Psycho, right? So,
I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Was it? Is he traveling on Christmas
for Psycho,
for Psycho?
yes and no. Okay. So here's what happened. They for Psycho when he sent the team out to shoot some B-roll in a small town for I can't remember the actress's name who gets murdered. Anyway, the main character that you think is the main character until she dies halfway through the movie.
Yes.
She is stealing money from her work, and she gets in the car and she's driving out of town. Now, as she's driving out of town, they are doing B-roll footage of the street. The street that they went to get the B-roll footage to go behind the car for the rear projection, it was Christmas time. And so there is Christmas decorations all up and down the street. So they never actually mentioned Christmas, but they did end up sticking with the footage that they got. This is what I was talking about, like with First Blood. That was set design. They chose that. With this was not Alfred Hitchcock trying to make a point. This is Alfred Hitchcock being stuck with the footage. So, and then for Citizen Kane, the Christmas movie in Citizen Kane is that we see. It's hard to talk about this because it's the classic spoiler, right? But
That film is 70 years old now. 80.
Yeah.
I think you're safe.
But young Citizen Kane, or not Charles Kane, is opening a Christmas present, and
Rosebud.
He's opening the Christmas present, and he's told Merry Christmas. And it's kind of a funny little moment, but as they move from that flashback into the present day, well, not present day, but 20 years later, it's kind of funny because there's a little exchange where the guy says Merry Christmas, and then young Kane says Merry Christmas, and then we jump cut to New Year's Day and a Happy New Year, and it's nice. It's a nice moment, a nice filming moment. But yeah, so he's taken away from his family on a cold winter day. He's taken to a foster home where he opens a Christmas present, and the Christmas present is important. So, yeah.
You really don't want to spoil an 80-year-old film? That's okay.
All right. Well, I mean, the Christmas present, when he dies, the last word he says is Rosebud.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, the thing is, actually, spoiling it now is not as big of a deal because people aren't watching it. Nobody cares about this movie anymore, even though it is potentially, I mean, it is a great film. And I mean, it was one of those where people talk about being one of the greatest movies ever made. Well, because they said it so often, it kind of became a cliche, and then people don't care about it anymore. And so, I mean, we might have just spoiled it, but it's not because there might be a 15-year-old future film student who's watching right now who in 5 years is going to be told you need to watch this movie and know, but
they'll be absolutely crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. But that's why it makes it such a very important element in the movie is that his last word is the last gift that he got that was supposed to be because he was going to be stepping into a better life. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got to give it to Psycho.
Really?
I got to give it to Psycho.
All right.
I don't feel that the Christmas element adds anything to either film.
Which is why I'm surprised, because at least it's a Christmas gift that's intentional. But
it could have been a birthday gift, and it would have had it would have had the same impact. And oh my gosh, at least I give it to Psycho because they didn't have any choice and they chose to use it anyway, and Alfred Hitchcock made the best with what he had, where with Citizen Kane they chose to cram a really incredible 20-minute film into 6.5 hours.
The one thing that Alfred Hitchcock did do is he put a title card that said December 11th, so that it wouldn't feel out of place.
Close enough.
I think I give it to Psycho. One of the things about Psycho is it's an interesting character study. It's actually two interesting character studies. The first part of the movie is her and her going through with the theft and all the back and forth about should I not, and then she's running away with the money, and it's there. It's kind of like the Edgar Allan Poe's Beating Heart kind of a thing, where it's just constantly there as a reminder that she has this bag of money, that she's done this evil thing. And then you have Norman Bates, who also is doing this evil thing, and there's a lot going on there. And I think that the Christmas setting, the only thing it does is it adds flavor to the town that she's going through. Thematically, you could talk about sin and that kind of thing, but again, you're stretching. You're really
stretching it thin.
Yeah. I give it to Psycho as well. I think I agree with you on that. So, all right, let's go to horror comedies. Can you guess? Can you guess where I'm going with this?
So many places to go with this. Horror Christmas comedies. Oh my gosh.
Well, there's the giant.
Jingle Bells, Santa Kills, Santa Sleigh Ride.
No, not those. Not those.
Deadly Night.
Let's 80s.
Okay.
We're in the 80s, and they are general release horror comedies. very popular release horror comedies. If you're watching right now and you know, drop it in the comments before I say it. But the first one is Gremlins,
Okay.
and the second one is Ghostbusters 2.
Okay.
So
I don't know that I would have. I don't know that I would have classed either one of those as a horror movie.
well, they're more comedy than horror. I guess Gremlins is more maybe what, black comedy, but
Sure, black comedy. Well, I don't know. Gremlins is. I expected Gremlins to come up at some point in this list because I absolutely think it's a fantastic Christmas film.
well, there's your answer right there, probably, because Ghostbusters 2, as far as Christmas goes,
It's
it's
fairly
very. It's
The movie takes
the-
place in the week between Christmas and New Year's.
exactly, and there is one scene where they're wearing Christmas hats.
Yeah.
and there's Christmas stuff in the background. There's snow around New York and that sort of thing.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
but I would go with Gremlins as the better of the Christmas movies, just because
I mean, the Christmas
the whole
gift is a
thing.
driving reason.
Exactly.
It's pervasive throughout the town. Everybody is trying to do it, is trying to prepare for this. And, we've got one of the things that Spielberg does so well, that subversion of the tropes where instead of angels coming to town and bringing peace on Christmas night, we have gremlins coming to town. We have the devils coming to town and bringing chaos. And it's a fantastic Christmas film.
I agree. I think that as I'm thinking about Christmas, though, it's interesting because the Christmas gift is innocent, sort of,
Okay.
but breaking the rules takes away the innocence, and so you have this innocent gift,
Okay.
and there's rules to follow, and we have that goes back to the reason we need the season, where you have Adam and Eve, and they had the perfect life, and they broke the rule, and chaos came out of that. So yeah. Now, obviously, for Gremlins, they weren't trying to make a Christmas statement, I don't think. But again, they said it at the season. They said it at the season. There's a reason for that. The gift, obviously, is a very important part here. And then it was Gremlins, where it's the girl and her story about her dad that went down the chimney and got stuck in the chimney, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the animated Christmas special, The Gift of the Mogwai.
Which I have not seen that.
Ah, well,
I have not.
if you can find it, don't bother.
Okay. All right. All right.
So there we go.
All right.
It wasn't even a movie length. It was a half-hour Christmas special.
Well, because they did that. Did they do a TV show? I thought there was an animated show in the works anyway. I don't know if they actually did it, but
Well, that may be what I'm remembering, and I'm just,
remembering the Christmas episode.
remembering it as a Christmas episode instead.
All right, let's go to post-apocalypse.
Oh,
We
yeah,
have
please.
Night of the Comet and I Am Legend.
Oh, which one?
Will Smith.
Okay.
Smith.
Oh goodness. They're both great films. But they have the problem that they're separated by a generation of storytelling difference. Because, I mean, Will Smith's I Am Legend came along in a point where filmmaking had moved into a different territory. There were different audience expectations, and it had a budget, which Night of the Comet.
Yeah. There's no budget on Night of the Comet.
There was no budget on Night of the Comet, and it was the mid '80s. Audience expectations were framed a little different for what they expected from a film, and I confess that I'm really stalling because I don't get the Christmas connection in either one.
both of them, the apocalypse basically happened at Christmas time. And
Okay.
so as they are wandering the empty town and in the mall or whatever, there is all the Christmas decorations are still there.
Okay.
And so yeah, so that's the Christmas connection for both of them. In fact, let me see if I can find it here. The opening narration for Night of the Comet is, since before recorded time, it had swung through the universe in an elliptical orbit, so large that its very existence remained a secret of time and space. But now, in the last few years of the 20th century, the visitor was returning. The citizens of Earth would get an extra Christmas present this year as their planet orbited through the tail of the comet.
Yes. Okay.
And so
Okay.
people are, it's right before Christmas, but it is, they call it out as a Christmas present for the Earth.
Sure.
But they're all like, they put up their decorations and they're getting ready for the holidays. They're celebrating the comet, but they're getting ready for Christmas. And yeah.
Okay.
And then the same thing with I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Where
It happens during the Christmas season.
He's walking down the streets and there's Christmas decorations still up around on the storefronts and things like that.
Okay.
So,
gosh. Okay, you know what? I'll have to give your Christmas in the Christmas battle. I have to give this one to I Am Legend.
okay.
And that's because Will Smith and his dog, they go through, the whole thing is set in the city streets. So in the city where he is. So you're going to see the Christmas decorations more. Whereas Night of the Comet starts in the city, moves to the desert, ends up in an underground base. And that's all I got, Ben.
And it's also about teenagers. it's a teen movie. I mean, yeah. So
Yeah, I don't think Night of the Comet was really trying to say or trying to do anything or make a film statement. And I Am Legend, it was trying.
all right, that's fair.
That's all I got.
That's fair. So
what's your pick? Come on.
My pick. I honestly I think I lean in toward Night of the Comet, just because of that whole. Just the audacity kind of thing where they're like, it's the same comet that caused the death of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And so it's it's another Christmas gift for the people of Earth or whatever. And it's like it's happy birthday, Jesus. Here's an extinction level event. That kind of a thing. And
well,
I think I give it to Night of the Comet. But.
Night of the Comet, if it taught us nothing else, it taught us that a Mac 10 was made for housewives to fit in their purses.
I don't know if it taught me that, but yeah. All right. So we're let's see here. There's a couple more that we're gonna do here, and then we'll kind of talk through my list of ones I didn't have pairings for, but we can just throw out like, is it Christmas or not? But I do have. We have to talk about this one. Star Trek Generations. This is Sci-Fi franchise.
Sure.
And it's not Star Wars Holiday Special because that is meant to be a holiday special. Star Trek Generations and Prometheus. That's our sci-fi franchise pairing. Prometheus is a Christmas movie because Idris Elba, I can't remember his character's name, but he puts up a Christmas tree to celebrate Christmas back home.
Yes.
And actually, there's a little bit of that idea in my story for Following Yonder Star, where it takes place distant future, and the main character is choosing to do the Christmas stuff because it's Christmas time, even though he's out in space all by himself with his robot. What was supposed to be the other Christmas connection that they tossed out is the whole thing going back to the prologue scene where you have the engineers and they throw the guy in the water and he infects the water and it's supposed to kickstart evolution. Originally, they were supposed to then go back and check on Earth by sending one of their own to Earth and he would go to Earth and he would check to see do humans deserve life? Are they worth surviving? And they take him and they put him on a cross, and that's actually the origin of the Jesus story, was going to be the engineers, which is
Wow.
something I'm really glad they didn't do. But that's the direction they were headed in. For Star Trek Generations, the Christmas connection is basically Captain Picard's idealized life that he really wishes he hadn't missed out on is Dickensian Christmas time.
It is, isn't it?
And it's Frenchman who has little British kids. And I can't remember if they're British or not, but
I mean, well, you know,
but it looks like it's lifted right from A Christmas Carol. It's from that Victorian kind of period,
Yeah.
and
down to the dress, down to the ornaments.
yeah,
absolutely.
And so that's when he thinks about what would his idealized life be if it wasn't the life that he had.
Mhm.
That's the life he was looking at. And
Yeah, even the way his son approaches him. Yeah,
we
absolutely.
have close-ups of the tree. We have Christmas lights figure into some of the transitions that they do, and yeah. Meanwhile, Captain Kirk just wants to be in a cabin with the lady he just met and his horses.
Well, I mean, the lady he just met and has been dating for several years.
We never see her face, and I always was disappointed it wasn't Carol Marcus.
You know, I was a little disappointed that Jean-Luc, in his idealized future, didn't end up with Beverly Crusher.
Well,
But
I never understood his. It doesn't fully make sense to me that that's his idealized life, but he definitely internalized A Christmas Carol, I think. So,
yeah.
but which is the better Christmas movie to you?
Jenner, Star Trek.
Okay.
Star Trek. I have to give that one to Star Trek. It is. I mean, the Christmas reference. I couldn't find the scene I was thinking of. Had to have been drawn from another film, and I'm just combining it. So I mean, the presence of a Christmas tree in Prometheus doesn't do anything for me.
Well, it would have been tied into Christmas much more tightly if they had kept that other portion,
Okay.
but they did not. So,
But they did not, and that's okay. We're okay with that.
we are definitely okay with that.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything there that's not just surface level. Whereas with Picard, I mean, that scene could have been set at any point in time, but it wasn't. It was set at Christmas time because that is his ideal situation where he is giving to others. He is giving of himself. He is giving presents to those he loves, and all of his family is there. And so it's that scene. I don't think would have worked had it been in a different, setting. It would not have. It would have worked. It would not have worked the same way.
That's fair. That's
So. So yeah, I've got to give the edge to Star Trek.
fair. All right. Well, I'm gonna skip over a few here because I would like to actually get to bed tonight at a decent time. But
What?
one I don't want to skip is Terry Gilliam movies.
Okay.
Terry Gilliam movies. Brazil and 12 Monkeys. Now,
You finally got me. I have not seen Brazil.
oh, okay. Well then,
And I saw 12 Monkeys once when it was in theaters, and all I remember about it is that Brad Pitt's a crazy person and the other guy is a time traveler. And the key scenes all happen in an airport.
okay.
So you
Well,
got me.
All right. Brazil takes place at Christmas time. There's Christmas presents. There's a bunch of decorations. And the reason it's set at Christmas time is for themes of family, but also themes of consumerism and commercialization. And it's kind of it's a dystopia kind of a thing. It's kind of a 1984 kind of thing. And the original title for the movie was actually going to be 1984 and a half. It's Terry Gilliam, so it's dark comedy. And it's one of my favorite movies. I really, really like the movie, but that's why it's a Christmas movie. The whole idea is it's a man. It's Jonathan Pryce, who has a very, very active imagination because the life he lives is very, very dull. And he is he's milquetoast kind of guy. And he wants a life of adventure, and he wants a life of something more. And yeah. And being set at Christmas time again, there's gift giving and there's all that kind of things. So for 12 Monkeys, towards the end of the movie, there's a few different scenes, and what they start doing is they have to leave voicemail messages for themselves, for the people in the future, because Bruce Willis has been sent to the past to find out information about a virus that knocks out almost everyone in the world. And so he's being sent to the past to find out information about that, and then he's supposed to leave voicemails if he needs to give information to the future. And the woman that he's with from the past, she leaves the message, and she says, "This is what's happening, da 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 da," and then she says, "Have a Merry Christmas." And so the connection there it's not as strong. Brazil definitely wins for being a Christmas movie over 12 Monkeys, but 12 Monkeys is also one of my favorite movies of all time. So that's where I'm at with that. So
Okay.
and I just wanted a chance to talk about Brazil and 12 Monkeys again. So that's why we didn't skip over that one.
I can get behind that.
And yeah, okay. So just briefly, here's some more strange Christmas movies, but I don't have pairings for them. Jaws: The Revenge, set at Christmas time.
Okay.
Very unfortunately. Hellboy 2, we get our whole backstory to the whole fantasy realm to understand what's going on there, because it's a Christmas story being told to Hellboy by the soldier who had found him when he was a child, a little baby demon. Oh, here's one. I wish we had a good matchup for this one. Princess Bride. Princess Bride. It took me a long, long time to realize this is a Christmas movie. It's a movie that we watched every New Year. And then I realized, wait a minute, this is a Christmas movie, because when Peter Falk comes to read to Fred Savage, the book that he's reading from was a Christmas present. It's wrapped Christmas present. And there is a school craft Santa Claus on the wall behind Fred Savage in his room.
Okay.
And so it's meant to be a Christmas time thing. And the gift to Fred Savage is the story, The Princess Bride.
Okay. Okay.
Another one, this one's not as good, but The Mothman Prophecies. And what's interesting to me about that is Mothman Prophecies starts out with Christmas gifts in water. And it's interesting. Why is that there? It's a visual that you're not expecting. Well, and they keep cutting back to it. It turns out that that's kind of the ticking time bomb. That's our counter that's counting down to Christmas Day, when a disaster happens on a bridge. And people are driving across the bridge, and they have Christmas gifts in their cars. And so that's what we're building up to for the climax there. So that is The Mothman Prophecies. And yeah, we don't need to talk about these other ones. So here's the last one. Here's the important one. Here's the big one.
Yes.
We're talking movies.
Yes.
Although the connection for the one movie comes from the book. Okay? So we are talking classic. We are talking big budget movies based on classic Christian fantasy books. Okay? It is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Fellowship of the Ring.
Sure.
So,
gosh.
The Christmas connection for The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe definitely comes from the whole idea of it always being winter and never Christmas. That's the curse that the White Witch has placed on the land.
Rescue Father Christmas.
And then Father Christmas comes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so that is C.S. Lewis's way of tying in Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I love the way they do it in the more recent movie, where you hear the bells and it's a sleigh and they're running away from it. And it turns out that it's Father Christmas who's coming behind them. It's not actually the White Witch, which is kind of cool, the way that they cut back and forth, and you think that they're being chased by the White Witch. But no, it's just Santa Claus, and he's got a sword for Peter, and he's got a bow for Susan, and he's got and he's got the little elixir for Lucy. So
okay.
Yeah. Fellowship of the Ring,
Yep.
what makes it a Christmas movie is that it's based on a book. And the information that I'm about to talk about doesn't come from the actual text of the book. It comes from the appendix at the end of The Lord of the Rings. But the date that we're talking about is important here. And Tolkien did go out of his way to mention that the day that Frodo and his friends decided to leave was December 25th.
Yep.
Okay. And then I didn't realize this until I was studying, not studying, but researching for a blog post that I was doing about the Fellowship of the Ring for the Strange Christmas movies, is that the destruction of the ring takes place on March 25th, which is the date that is the first Good Friday.
Yep.
And so you have the traditional date that we celebrate the birth of Christ used as a day for Tolkien talking about the beginning of the end of an era. And then the day of the first Good Friday is the actual end of an era of evil. And yeah, and so that's where we're ending on that strongest point where we have, and I'm going to read it from my blog post, to Tolkien, Christmas marked the beginning of the end of an era, and Good Friday marked the end of an era. With Christmas, the one who would bring an end to the destructive reign of sin was born. With Good Friday and Christ's death, the sting of death, sin was destroyed. Tolkien has gone on record as not liking allegory, but with the themes of The Lord of the Rings and the dates he details in the appendixes, he proves that he had no problem with allusion, at least.
That's true.
And thematic metaphor. So
true.
he may not like allegory, but thematic metaphor, he is there for it. And yeah, I do find it interesting looking at the differences between Tolkien and Lewis. Lewis, I don't know if you've seen the meme where it's like, Santa Claus shows up. And then a Minotaur comes and fights with them, and they, it's like just whatever I could throw into the pot, But at the same time, again, for Lewis, that Christmas marked the beginning of the end for the evil in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Yep. And then a Good Friday moment also marks the end of that evil.
Yep.
And so they both were kind of doing the same thing without knowing it, and with Tolkien saying, I hate that you have Father Christmas in your book, Jack. And Jack saying, oh, Tollers, I love your book. So, yeah. But I wanted to end on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Fellowship of the Ring. I feel like those are...
And you can't top that.
Yeah.
That's just... Yeah. You can't top that.
And speaking of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I am planning to do a series of C.S. Lewis on film as we come out of the Christmas season, because of the Netflix Narnia stuff that's coming. But there's some interesting things now with... What?
You don't seem excited by the Netflix Narnia series.
Well, I was.
Okay.
Until I started hearing some of the choices they're making. Okay. It's one of those now, it's wait and see. And the good thing is now I'm stepping in with low expectations. So
yeah, time will tell.
Time will tell. So, Winston, where can people find you and your stuff online? And also, here's one thing that people can find of yours online. Following Yonder Star, I told you a little bit about my story, which is a novella set in my Slipstream universe. That's the same universe as Ghosts of the Future, but different characters. It's not the same crew. It's not the crew of the Tabitha. It's a guy. He's off on his own with a robot, and he makes first contact with an alien. And Christmas is the setting, and it takes us through Epiphany. It's called We Three Kings. So the three kings are a human, an alien, and an android, or a robot. Your story, on the other hand, is
it's a little bit different.
There's 4 sections. One is Winter Wonderlands. One is Merry Melees that has Santa Claus fighting different things. One is Cosmic Christmases. That's where you'll find We Three Kings and Adam David Collings' The Christmas Star Disaster. But Winston, we find yours in Holiday Horrors.
I love holiday horror as a concept. That's great. I love Christmas horror films. I didn't lean as hard into the horrors as
You didn't lean in as hard as you could have, but you definitely, if it were a movie, we'd be saying, oh, we pushed the PG-13 rating a little bit. So there's
possibly.
There's blood.
There's some blood. Yeah, there's some blood. That's fair. I mean, you have green. You've got to have red, right?
That's true. That's true. And you have green in there too,
Lots of green
with the trees. So
Yep. The elevator pitch is that a fish and wildlife game warden gets called out to a forest because somebody has accidentally unleashed several supernatural horrors which were being imprisoned in the trees, and his job is to put them back in the trees. And it begins in a Christmas tree at a Christmas tree farm, and it ends on the stage of a Charlie Brown Christmas, and the journey in
sort of.
between.
Yeah.
Do what?
I said sort of. Yeah.
Sort of. Well, you know.
Yeah. Not so much that it's a copyright violation.
I mean, the elements are there, and I even have a character named Chuck.
Yeah. It's it's a reference.
It's a reference,
and it's a very fun reference, very much so.
I appreciate it. Ben's very generous, and I appreciate that. But the journey is alternately amusing, adventurous, and harrowing, and I leave it to the readers to decide which is which and whether or not it all works.
Yeah, I mean, as a story, it works for sure. Is it Christmas? Is it Christmas enough?
Is it Christmas enough?
Yeah,
God,
it definitely is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like these all fit much better than some of the things we've been talking about for sure. But,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I did not intentionally treat the Christmas theme in any strong way. It was, again, it's an element of the setting, and it is an element of the reason of the way these creatures are being imprisoned. But going
without the setting. Without getting into any spoilers, but without the setting, the story couldn't have happened the way it did, because the setting itself and the timing of the setting is what kicks things into action. And
well, this is true.
And so it's at least as connected as Die Hard. So,
you know what? Any time somebody compares something I wrote to Die Hard, I'm going to take that as a win. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, it's a fun book. I hope people do pick it up. If you try and order it now, you should get it before Christmas. But don't forget, the 12 days of Christmas, technically speaking, are after Christmas, right? Like, I think that's.
I thought it was the lead up to the Christmas.
Is it?
Isn't it? And
I thought it was after.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your graphic novel in the middle of that one.
Yeah, which again, the artwork is by Tim Barron. There is a lot of
Santa versus
not over the top
Krampus,
violence,
is
but
that what
comic book violence. Yeah,
but I thought that was really great. There's a lot of very good stuff in here by a lot of very good authors: Nathan James Norman, Adam David Collings. You know, people who make me think that I really ought to use 3 names when I write.
Yeah, Nathan Marchand also has one in there that's just a very short little goofy about Santa and UFOs. There's some people that I've never met before that I met because of this book. And so it was cool. It was cool bringing it together. Some of the stories are brand new. Some of the stories are reprinting older things. But all of them make for the kind of thing that I would like to read when it comes to like Christmas stuff. And I love Christmas Carol, but I also like reading, just the sci-fi and going kind of nuts with some of the things. And so some of these, they do go kind of in some odd directions. So, yeah.
But I like it. So answer your first question. You can find all of my books at readwriterelease.com, where you can read good books. I want to help people write good books and release them into the wild. That's my goal.
Yeah. And when you do check that out, that is where you can find the series of the Starman. You can find those there, right?
The Starman Saga, Diane Detzer's Intergalactic League. And because we talked about A Christmas Carol, as soon as we get done here, I'll post up a link to the Christmas Carol audio drama, just because.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. And that was readwriterelease.com?
Readwriterelease.com.
All right. Perfect. Everyone else, thank you so much for spending time with us. And course of this Christmas season, I have to end the show basically the way I've been ending the last few videos, and that is, until next time, God bless us, everyone, and Godspeed.
Did I volunteer for this?